All right. Well, welcome to this student organization summer workshop series, how to start a new student organization. So we're just going to go through some tips and tricks about how to start a new organization if you're interested. If there's something that on one of the campuses that you're not interested in, or you're just not really finding the thing that you want to do, we can definitely help you find some people to help make a new organization at ASU. All right. So the first thing you're going to need, to start, you need 3 members to serve as your first, second, and third officer. You'll need a primary advisor and then a constitution. So when you've prepared these things, this is what you'll need to be able to complete the registration in Sun Devil Sync. So these 3 officers, so they must be enrolled at ASU. They have to be listed as officer 1, 2, and 3. You're able to go in and change your position titles if you want it: president, vice president, treasurer, whatever it is that you want to have. After the registration, you're able to go in and change those, but for the registration purposes, they just need to be listed as the officers. So you'll need to have the first and last name of these officers, their ASU email address, and then their ASU right, which is that first part of their ASU email. And then they also have to complete the officer training, which the link is there. It's just to go over some of your responsibilities, that you understand the policies and procedures as an officer and your responsibility towards a club at ASU. So a faculty or staff advisor. So your organization has to have 1 primary advisor. You can have more than 1 advisor. One would just serve as a secondary advisor, but it's not required. So for advisors, if it's a faculty member, they have to hold the role of a professor or a lecturer. So this also includes professor, associate professor, assistant professor, clinical professors, principal lecturer, senior lecturer. And then they have to have at least 2 years of experience at ASU to be eligible as a primary advisor. If it's a staff member, they have to have worked for ASU for at least 3 years, and then have relevant experience to the club mission, goals, that sort of thing. So if you have any questions about an advisor or who's eligible for that, then you can definitely go to asu.edu/clubs. There's all the requirements listed there. It's same for the officers as well. And then what you'll need for your advisor is you need their ASU right, their ASU email, and then their official ASU position, job title with ASU. So it's smart to go on to ASU iSearch and search faculty and staff and find your whoever it is that you're asking to be your advisor, and put that specific role that is in the university log, essentially, so that it matches up. So your advisor's role. So your advisor is expected to be actively involved in supporting your organization. So that could be assisting in planning events, attending any large-scale programs, such as events that are over 100 attendees, if there's a speaker or a performer that will be present, and then events that would require additional security. So you also should be working collaboratively to create experiences that allow professional and educational growth at ASU. So their advisors here to help you make those connections and, decide whether or not a certain avenue for your organization would be beneficial for the needs of your organization and the goals that you have for your student club. So the primary advisor will also need to be take a required training and then a supplementary quiz before the organization is approved. And this has to be done every year, as does the officer training. And there's the link for that as well. So just because the advisor took a training last year doesn't mean that it counts for this year. So just keep that in mind. So your constitution. So we do have a template available if you need that. You can let us know and we can send it your way. But things that you should be thinking about to consider creating your constitution is what's your purpose, your vision, and your mission. You do need to have your elections and your voting procedures in your constitution, as well as the provisions of removal from office, and then also membership requirements. So something that you absolutely have to have in your constitution under membership requirement is you have to have the non-discrimination statement, and state that all students that are enrolled at least 1 credit hour are eligible. So that's something that's really important. If you do not have these things in your constitution, you will be denied registration. All right, so what's your vision? So thinking about your organization and what it means to be an organization at ASU. So this is the ASU charter. So it's really important to kind of like, how does your organization feed into the overall missions and goals of ASU? So I would recommend looking at the charter and the missions and goals and seeing how your club aligns with that. So how to complete your registration. So once you have all these things gathered and all the trainings taken, you're going to want to register on Sun Devil Sync. So sundevilsync.asu.edu. And then under, there's a tab at the top and you click organizations, and then on the side, it'll say register an organization. And then at the bottom in a blue button, it'll say register a new organization. So that's what you're going to click. So you'll go through, you'll create the steps, there's instructions laid out. And if there are any issues, you'll get an email about what things you need to change, what little minor, so-and-so hasn't taken the training, or you need to provide the correct ASU email, that type of thing, little things like that, or you need to adjust your constitution in whatever way. So these are the things that you'll have to do, and you'll get emails of how to adjust those and what you need to do to be able to fully be registered and approved. And then once you are approved, you're able to invite officers to your page, the members and that type of thing, and get your organization up and running. So it's really important to keep the code of conduct in mind. All student organizations are responsible for abiding by the student code of conduct and the student organization handbook, which I can provide for you as well. So these are when you're on campus and even off, when you're on campus, obviously you are on campus, you're under ASU jurisdiction. But even if you're off campus, you are representing ASU in some fashion. So it's really important that you are respectful and you abide by the code of conduct. Hazing is strictly prohibited no matter where it takes place. So that's something to keep in mind. So creating your brand. So something to think about is like naming your organization. What do you want your organization to be named? So you're allowed to use a geographical designation, so at Arizona State University, but you cannot say Arizona State University Taco Devils or ASU Boat Riding Club. It has to, you cannot put, it can't imply that it's an official relationship of the university, official organization. It needs to be at the end designating that you are a club at ASU, you are not the ASU club, if that makes sense. So something that's acceptable would be the Pitchfork Chess Players Chess Club at ASU, but you would not be able to say ASU Chess Club. And you also are not allowed to use the ampersand sign. So that little @ sign, you can't say Chess Club @ ASU, it needs to be the AT. So creating your logo, student organizations have 3 options that are be able to use that you can do add into your logo. So that's the Sparky, the pitchfork hand sign, and then Sparky's pitchfork. So those 3 at the bottom, but you're not allowed to use the sunburst, the seal, the sports ASU logo, or the sports pitchfork. If you have questions about that, you can go to the ASU branding guide and they can help you figure out what exactly you can use. Same thing with like ASU colors. So like ASU gold, ASU maroon, ASU orange. We do even have an ASU pink if you wanted to use that. So, all right, so Sun Devil Sync. So starting off things, so there's going to be an explore and manage view. So that's what the access that you'll have, and managing, you'll be able to manage your organization, update your roster, update your about page, add photos, just get whatever it is that you want to have on your first page, the first glance of your organization for someone who might be looking on Sun Devil Sync to see your organization. So student organization benefits. So being a student organization officially registered with ASU, you are able to reserve space at university student unions and centers. So post office downtown, the SAC Center at West, MU, Tempe, and the student union at Poly. You're able to reserve classroom spaces as well as spaces at the Sun Devil fitness complexes. So something important to know about food and catering. So if an event is taking place inside a student union or center, or there's other specific ASU locations, then Airmark catering has to be used if you're going to provide food. For other spaces, there is an ASU approved vendors list that you are able to go through and use to provide snacks, food, for your events, for your meetings, that type of thing. And then it's important to note that homemade food and drinks are not permitted at any university sponsored events at all. So be sure that you're following those policies. So organization funding, this is something important to know. So as a student organization, you have access to funds so that you can operate as an organization on your campus at ASU. So the one that is really important for this purpose is the startup club funding. So starting a new organization, the deadline to apply for that is November 4th. So you can, startup club funding can go towards getting promotional items, and maybe, you know, you want to get stickers or logo of your logo or something like that to get the word out. That's what you could use that funding for. It is a one-time funding, so if you use it this fall, you would not be able to use it in the spring, just so you know that. But then you can use operational general club funding, so that was where you could also do promotional items, so the deadline is coming up, September 30th. And then travel professional development funding, so if you are, example, we have a couple of music organizations and they go to music museums, they go to concerts, that type of thing. That would be a travel and professional development funding. And then event funding. So if you wanted to host, for like the music club, you wanted to host a concert, you wanted to bring an a band in or something like that and have food and other things, then that's what that would be as well. And so the limits of how much money you can get for your organization vary by campus location. And then all of these are the fall deadlines above. So if you go to asuusg.com, that has all the funding information. And then if you're a graduate organization, graduate undergrad, the GPSA has information as well, graduate student organization funding for you as well. So you can email gpsa@asu.edu. The limit is $2,000 per event, and it must be submitted by the first of the month, 1 month before your event. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, but this is a really good opportunity to take advantage of. So additional funding and banking. So organizations can seek additional funding. So maybe that's, you have membership dues, you do fundraising, you get sponsored by a local business, you apply for grants, that type of thing. And then you also are able to create a bank account for your organization. It's not required, but if you are doing additional funds, so you have a sponsor, maybe you're doing a GoFundMe page, something like that, then you'd need to apply for an EIN through the IRS and then get a bank account to house that funding. So we do have a partnership with MidFirst Bank. So there's a bank on the downtown campus and the Tempe campus where you can go in and create an account, open a bank account with your EIN for your organization. So that's something to keep in mind as well. All right, elevating your organization. So student organization support. So the student organization offices on all 4 campuses have supplies that they can help you get your organization going. So making buttons, supplies for poster boards, trifolds, decorating supplies, that type of thing. That's something that's important that you could utilize. But also our team is here to support you with planning your events, group conflict management, navigating resources that ASU has, as well as the opportunities that ASU has to get your organization out there, to elevate your organization in terms of professional development, that type of thing. And then also the marketing and branding assistance. So we do have, as I said, a branding guide that is available online, but we also have marketing and branding pro staff that could help you as well. So something that I would like to point out here is Canva is a really great opportunity, a marketing resource that you can use to be able to create event flyers and that type of thing. You are able to also load in ASU specific colors so that there on that screen is ASU blue, the ASU maroon and gold. So it's just an easy way to get your marketing handled digitally or for and so on. So something to keep in mind, so annual events that your organization can partake in. So August is usually we have welcome week, there's tabling and org fairs, and then homecoming, as well as athletic events. January, there's an involvement fair. We usually have Sun Devils Unite, which is where we raise money for United Way. And then club re-registration starts usually end of March, beginning of April, and then the Pitchfork Awards are in April as well. So these are all events that student organizations are able to participate in and be involved in. So workshops and training. So it's really important to note that if you are looking to apply for USG funding after you have been registered and approved with Sun Devil Sync, then you do have to take a training in order to apply for funds from USG. And then also be on the lookout for training and workshops throughout the semester and the year. Our team has been working diligently to provide some resources for you so that you are able to grow as a student leader, grow as an organization. So if you're interested in getting a copy of this specific presentation, that's my email there that you can reach out to me. And then also follow us on our student engagement at ASU YouTube. There's a bunch of videos on there, previous ones from the summer workshop series, as well as any of them that we will be hosting throughout the semester will be posted on there, so you can always refer back. But it's also a really great resource if you're looking for specific information. And then these are the phone numbers and emails for the clubs and organization teams at all 4 campuses. So feel free to reach out to any campus, whichever one you're on, and they will more than happy to help you work through any questions you have with re-registration or starting your organization. So, all right, well, thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great day.